Hey there, YouTubes. This is Grimweird coming back at you with more MC Eternal mod pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. So since last episode, what have I done? So one thing I did was I went ahead and changed my attunement. So the last time I did this, I was an Enigmatica 2 expert, but it was pretty easy to make overpowered weapons and overpowered armor, and the monsters were not that strong. And so it was pretty easy to take the perk tree, make myself Dissidia, and then make a little simple zombie farm. And while I was sitting in front of the TV, I just, keep clicking attack and just killing thousands and thousands of zombies. Here things are a little different. We've got that infestation that has the maggots come out of the zombies, so that complicates things. We've got all sorts of wild stuff from fishes undead rising that comes up. We've got bosses that come up that can do damage and do other things, including there's some that I think are start sprouting lots of silverfish. So you've got maggots and silverfish and all sorts of craziness to deal with. So just sort of relaxed leveling through monster killing is probably not going to be as enjoyable for me. So I went ahead and if we take a look at research, is it under here? Irradiant Star, that's not it. Maybe it's under Attunement. Shifting Star. So if you decide you want to change what you are attuned to, like I did, you can craft this Shifting Star, and then you fire it like you would a bow, and it will basically remove all your perks. So basically, it removed the fact that I had Dissidia at one point in Dissidia, and it started me over in Evortia. And then I attuned myself again, this time to Evortia, which gives me mining speed, and now I gain perk experience by mining blocks. I think that's just going to be a much easier way to go in this particular mod pack, because I can go downstairs in my base and just lay waste to stuff with a vein miner and get things that way. And also with Tinker's tools being pretty rough now with the experience compared to before. So I think before, I think comfortable was only like a total of maybe a few thousand experience, but on this particular server, comfortable is to get through comfortable is 40,000. So that's a little crazed. So it's harder to put a lot of speed upgrades on your mining pick. So it might not hurt to get some mining speed through Astral Sorcery. So I did that. I also went ahead and crafted a perfect size, purity, and cutting celestial crystal. The blue particle effect, or the red particle effects there is because I attuned this to Dissidia. I don't think for this particular purpose it matters too much which it's attuned to. All I'll say about that is that you want to pick a constellation that is in the sky a lot. So if you look here, most of them are available in like 5 moon phases out of 8. So Dissidia, basically one of the reasons I like Dissidia just for this is because I can just check by looking at the sky if it's a new moon or like, almost a new moon, then I know that Dissidia is not going to be in the sky. So it makes it nice and easy. But you can also see I had that floating crystal that I played around with, and then it sort of morphed itself into a collector crystal. And I was playing around with trying to get it to not create fake leftover rays of light. And now I've got a bunch of leftover rays of light. So that's a little tacky looking and not ideal. But I finally just gave up on it because it wasn't doing much compared to my real collector crystal, so I just moved it down here for decoration purposes. What else? I should about have a... I'm growing up another one of these, so you can see I'm about done with another perfect celestial crystal. I got one there that I used to attune to Decidia, and I'm using as a collector crystal. Then if we look over here, I've got another perfect one that is attuned to Lucerna. So this one will both help me in making my observatory when I get around to it. I need to make one of these. And then also, after that, I can use it in a ritual. So if we take a look at constellations, Lucerna is one of the dim, so that's like the second tier ones. Then if we cycle through here, ritual effect. While only starlight, the fundamental brightness contained within prevents hostile creatures from arising in the area. So I haven't really needed to do this before, but in this particular mod pack, so I'm going to go ahead and try it out. So there, I got that guy. And then I also want to make probably one more. That's why I'm going ahead and doing this one. I might play around with the Mineralis ritual that can do some interesting things with creating ores, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Constellations, Mineralis, ritual. Igneous processors are accelerated within nearby stone, resulting in new mineral growth where previously there was none. So basically, if you put down some stone, I think this ritual will actually turn it into random ores. And I've never played with that because I've never really needed to. Usually in big mod packs, if environmental tech is there, I'll go ahead with the void miners. And I never really have to worry about mining once I get that up and running. Anyway, so I'm going to make another one of those. So that's what's going on up here. Let's see. What else did I do? My Squid of the Ring works now, so you can see that blue exhaustion bar. So as long as I hold down the space button, I will float upwards until I run out of blue. So if I just let it go and go and go, eventually it will fail. So this combined with the glider is now my new method of getting around that does not involve a slingshot. So the ring of the squid is a lot more controllable than a slingshot, slime shot. Well, it's dark out. I still need a few constellations, but I'm not seeing the ones I need. I also finally got around to, so I just said I got around to working on my squid ring. So the first thing I had to do was make at least 8, and I went ahead and made 9 because the recipe makes 3 at a time. Solar things to power a resonator. And we'll come back and discuss this in a moment. I'm experimenting with mod farm stuff. Stop it. Thank you. So I made my resonator. That allowed me to make stone burnt, and then the stone burnt allowed me to make fire mills. So if we go all the way down here, I did hog out a bit of area here and put in a bank of 3x3 fire mills, and you can see I've got burning netherrack underneath them. So netherrack is basically down at at the andesite level, and then the flame is at the nether brick level, and then these are a space above the netherrack, a space above the fire in netherrack. Yeah, so cool. And each of these does 4, so 4 times 9 is 36, and that all's working good. I also just laid down a little andesite just to clean things up a little. Another thing I did here was I like to tell you guys if I change anything or add anything to a mod pack. Like, for instance, I didn't realize nuclear craft radiation was on. I've never played with nuclear craft radiation on, so when I flew through some nuclear wastelands, I got radiation sickness, and it took me a long time to figure out what the hell it was and how to get rid of it. And eventually, I just turned off nuclear craft radiation. So another thing I turned off was, if we go to mod options, dynamic surroundings, config, fog options, bedrock fog. So the default of this is on, and I hate this. I hate this with a passion, because it basically makes doing anything down at bedrock level really, really annoying, for no particular good reason. It's all lit up, no monsters are spawning, I've got light for days. I shouldn't be this in the dark. I mean, you can literally only see about 8 blocks. So I found that to be not fun, just weird and unnatural. So I went ahead and turned that off. So again, that's dynamic surroundings, fog options, bedrock fog. Done, done, and done. Now I did leave hardcore darkness on, so if there are not lights, it gets real dark real quick when there are no lights around. I don't mind that so much, but I do feel like you should be able to light things up. Oh, and hey, let's just talk about this one more moment. Another thing that I did not like about this was, if we go dynamic, I mean, I don't mind some mood lighting as long as I can, find ways to get around with it. Fog on, done, done. Takes a moment, and done. Alright, so light doesn't work. Fine. How about night vision? So I have picked up from some chest a vision helmet, and you can put that on. This is what it looks like with night vision. So the fog is still there. I can still only see 8 blocks before the fog just makes it, I don't know, I think that just looks horrible. So I ain't doing it. Sue me. Anyway, that's enough about that. Turn this back off. No bedrock fog. Now, I don't mind some of the other fogs. There's a morning fog that makes it sort of hazy in the morning when the clock turns to morning. There's one where when you get way up high flying, like 100 plus, it starts to get hazy. I don't mind those fogs so much. Those didn't bother me. Alright, so anyway, that's enough about that. Other things that I've done, I went out exploring. I needed to get more constellation papers and more just general supplies. So I flew around with my new Ring of the Squid, which made flying around pretty darn easy. And I just sort of wandered, and you can see I did a huge route. I'd already been up in this area. There's a dragon there, there's a dragon there, there's a dragon there. There were dragons in this area, some too, which is why I sort of circled around. But I was mostly looking for more of the big Astral Sorcery temples so that I could find more constellation papers and wouldn't be forced to make them myself, and also just to see what was out there and pick up anything else that I found. One thing I hadn't seen yet was a rubber tree, and it turns out that's because I'm not familiar with Tech Reborn, and we don't have the IC2 rubber trees, we have the Tech Reborn rubber trees. So somewhere up in here, uh, I think it was near some magic forest. Yeah, it was up here. So somewhere up by this magic forest, I did find a little grove of rubber trees, and I cut those down. So now I've got some sap. Where is it? I got a few sap that was just there, but then I also, more importantly, got 18 rubber tree saplings. So I need to plant those and grow them and make some plastic so that I can get into some industrial foregoing, because that's a fun mob. All right, but the main focus of today is going to be, I think that was all the extracurricular stuff I've gotten into. Oh, I did find a vampire hunter village, and in that vampire hunter village, I got some garlic and an injection chair, so I can now turn myself into a vampire hunter. So I may do that as soon as I get a little time, as soon as I need a break from mob farming. So I usually use vector plates in my mob farms, and in the old days, before that, I used things like water and gravity, but those aren't in this pack. But Mob Utilities is, and I haven't used mob grinding utilities before that much. I used it a little in a PO3 Project Ozone 3 Kappa playthrough that I abandoned because I just wasn't feeling Project Ozone 3 Kappa. It's a bit too grindy, and I didn't like some of the mods in it, like Lord Craft and Abyssal Craft. It was just sort of annoying. So what I've got going on here is I need to move mobs around with fans so that I can have a cursed earth ground. If I just use these entity conveyors, I can't make him cursed earth. The vector plates were nice because you could have cursed earth. You could lay down a bunch of dirt, put your vector plates on them, and then turn all the dirt to cursed earth underneath the vector plates. But you can't do that with this mob grinding utilities entity conveyor. So I want to try fans. I've never played with the mob grinding utility fans before. So my standard 9x9, that is a little weird because the fans do this thing where they start with just pushing one block horizontally, and then when you add this, it goes to 2, and then it goes to 3 because it goes +1 in either direction. So you have 1, 3, 5, and 7. So you either are gonna make like a 7x7, or a 7 wide in this dimension, or you're going to have a second fan. And if you're gonna have a second fan, you may as well use the second fan. So I'm gonna make a 14 by 9. And what I'm going to do, and I was playing with these fans. So what I've got is I'm going to have a mob. Oh, I haven't made it yet. I'm going to have a mob smashing unit right here. So this is going to be my corner. There's going to be all sorts of spiders and flying crap and God knows what in here with this thing. So I've got one fan pushing down. So you can see I'm trying to fly out and I can't until I get away from that one spot. And then here I'm going to have, if we take a look at this area, just turn off hide area here. Oops. And hide area. And show area. And so here I've got, I'm setting it 3 up and then going +2 in either direction so I can make it 5 tall. It has to be at least 3 tall to get Enderman in it. But then again, I like to do this thing where I not only have cursed earth, but in the center I also put a powered spawner. Or I put a spawner, and sometimes I put 2 of them in there, just to increase things. But since my spawners are up off of the cursed earth, or I stack them, I need to go a little taller. So that's why I'm going a little taller. And again, if you're not going to do, 3, you might as well do 5, because that's the way these expansions work. So now you can see here, I think I've got this on now. Boom. So I can't go up, and I can't go towards this fan. No up, no fan. So if there are spiders up here, they'll get blown down. And anything that hits this line gets quickly moved that way. So now, let's hide that. Oh, and again, this now has 9 plus 9 distance. So just because the way this works out, with these being 7 and these being 7, I want to do 14 long. And it starts with 5, so I had to put plus 9, and you can go up to a max of plus 10 on this fan to get everything flowing into that corner. So now, whoa, if I turn that on, you can see that now I am pushed into here. So now I can't move that way, can't move diagonally, can't move towards that fan. Oh, but if I jump up, I go flying out. And then, of course, the last piece of this puzzle, so you can see that covers that area. So the last piece of this little fan puzzle is this area. And so now, boom. So anything in this blue area out to that corner right there will get pushed to this fan. And then this fan will push me into this corner. And then this fan above me will keep me from keep any spiders on the ceiling pushed down onto the mob spikes that will be right where I'm standing. So yeah, I'm trying to run, and I cannot get out of this corner. I'm trying to jump, and because there's a wall here, I can. Let's go ahead and do that. Really test this out. I like to test things out in a nice safe environment like my base, so that when I'm out in the wild setting this up, there, now I can't jump up enough to get out, can't get blown out, can't move that way, can't move that way. I am well and truly hosed if this spot has a mob basher in it. So we'll break those blocks and get out. Alrighty, so now this is going to take care of moving the monsters, but we also need to generate the monsters. So I was a little worried about getting some cursed earth, but I was looking at our handy dandy quest manual. I don't know where it is for a drop of evil, because I don't have one, and I'm not in the mood to go to the nether quite yet. So if we look here, you can get it from a quest book, and that quest book is the Mob Masher, which is exactly what I want to be using for this anyway. So, boom. So we're going to make a Mob Masher. If I have enough iron. This whole project is consuming, so these fans are consuming the fans, and the fan upgrades are consuming a ton of iron and feathers. Now feathers is no biggie, because I have long ago, one of the earlier things that I did was I got a couple chickens, put them on a hopper, and hoppered them into this. So I got feathers for days. Used up maybe like a stack and a half of feathers for all of this fan action, but that was no big deal. I'm going to go turn off these fans. Alright, so here again I've got +3, so instead of going just 1 this way, or 3 this way, or 5 this way. They're all the way up to 7, pointing 7 this way. And then I've got 2 of them here to go, +1, 2 to make them high and low. And we'll turn that off and hide, and this one is the same. And these are strength 4, so the default is 5, and we're pushing out an extra 4 to go 9. Yeah, there's really no reason why I wouldn't do more of that, other than the fact that I'm already devoting a lot of iron to this. And I have a feeling I'm going to get so much crap from this mob farm that I won't even know what to do with it all anyway. So let me pause here, and I'm going to work on... I had already made 4 redstone lamps and an advanced redstone interface to control them, but that was going to be for a 9x9, so I'm probably going to need to make a couple more redstone lamps. I'm going to need to make position filter. And I got to verify. So I made one of those. Let's pull it out. I haven't actually used one of these before either. Alright, so it'll hold plenty of filters. So if I need to go... I'm probably going to need 6 redstone lamps. So I'll have 6 position filters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I have to do a 7 1/8 to inactivate all the cursed earth, I can do that. So that's good. So that's another reason not to go like 14 by 14 mob farm is it'll make this system of lighting up more complicated. And that's just paper and purple dye. And what you'll do is I'll set up redstone lamps in the ceiling. I'll right click them with the paper to save the position. And I'll put those all in here. And then when I flick a lever for this guy, it will affect all the positions of all the position papers that are attuned to all the lamps. At least that's the theory. I haven't actually done this before, but that's the theory. So that's the lighting, how I'm going to turn the mob farm on and off. For getting stuff out of it, I went ahead and made some item conduits from Ender.io. And because I probably am going to want to filter this at some point. And then I also made some extract speed upgrades, and I might make some more. Depends on how quickly this thing fills up. This absorption hopper, because I haven't used an absorption hopper yet either. So I made an absorption hopper, and that's going to be collecting experience and items. I made a little dark clear glass that I can put just around this area here so I can watch the activity, make sure everything's looking good. Made a drawer controller, so we're going to feed from the hopper into a drawer controller, and then I made 20 2x2 drawers. We're going to have to sort of manually figure out what these drawers are going to be. I have no idea what kind of drops we're going to get. I made them 2x2s just to limit the footprint, so now that makes us 20 times 4 is 80 types of things that we can have in there. The 2x2s only hold 8 stacks, but we can make size upgrades for ones that we want. We can cluster things that we want a lot of, like bones and ender pearls and anything like that, into one drawer, and we can raise the storage limit on it. Things that we don't want so much of, we can put a void in it, or we can filter it out using an Ender.io big item filter. Which reminds me, I have made a couple more machines. I made an alloy smelter so that I could make Ender.io stuff. And I made a slice and dice with some dark steel tools so that I can make big item filters, assuming I'm going to need them, which I do assume I'm going to want them. So that's going to be this guy. So I want to make skeletal contractors to make item filters, so that we can, if our drawers get overloaded and I'm getting a bunch of crap I don't want, I can send some of it to a trash can. So item and experience is going. We're going to need to put some sort of container for experience. So I need to get that going. Probably going to use a singularity tank from upgrading utilities with an XP tap on it. The only thing I'm worried about is I think I use these PO3 Kappa, and it wasn't as big as I would have liked. The capacity for how much it would hold was not as good as I would like, so I might need to make 2 or 3 of those and then connect them. But they're not too expensive. Only 4 iron each. Only more iron. Yay. And so then lastly, at upgrading utilities, I need to make one of these, which I do have it here. I'm going to make one of these, and then I need to make a bunch of stuff for it. We're going to want to put looting as much as we can. Well, we can do all of that. Blue dye. I can make blue dye for days. I'll use the floral powder way. So basically, 10 of these will only be 4 bone meal worth of floral powder. So that we're going to go with looting 10. Fire aspect. Sharpness. I'm going to try and maybe get away with not doing sharpness to start. We'll see. I'm a little bit worried about the boss mobs, but I also, we'll see how much iron I go. We might start without sharpness, and then if mobs aren't dying fast enough, I'll get me some more iron and make some sharpness mods for it. Beheader. I might make a few of these. I've been saving iron helmets. Looks like I've got 1 iron helmet there. I got 1 iron sword. I knew I was going to be making stuff like this, so I've been saving iron swords. Doesn't look like I have a lot of helmets, though. Let's see, we're going to need 2 of these. Oops. And then we're going to need another block and another 2 swords. I think that was the end of my free iron swords that I got out of chests and whatnot. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And 1. And 1. I usually don't like to film a lot of me just playing in the crafting table, but might as well do this on camera. Doesn't hurt to craft every once in a while on camera. Do that. And boom. So now I got my guy here. We can take a look at it. So it's got all the things. We're going to definitely do all 10 of these. And then what else do we got? Sharpness. I don't have any more free iron swords, so I'm going to try and not do that. Flame aspect. I don't want to set things on fire. Smite. There's a lot of undead in this pack, so again, sharpness and smite and bane of arthropods will be things that I only add if I feel like the mob masher is not getting its job done fast enough. And I'm not in a hurry to kill the monsters, so as long as I'm not causing any problems, I'm not too worried about it. And then beheading. Definitely will do beheading. Do I have any gold helmets? There's one of those. I think I have plenty of gold. But I don't have plenty of iron for iron helmets. So we'll do a little bit of beheading. Basically what I'll do is I'll see if wither skeletons will spawn in there naturally off of cursed earth. If wither skeletons do spawn, then I will be much more interested in getting beheading off there on there. If wither skeletons only spawn in the nether, let's see if it'll actually tell us. Spawn biome any. So if we get to cursed earth and we are getting wither skeleton skulls, then I will want to definitely do that so that we can farm wither bosses. But yeah, we'll just see how my iron holds up. I think I've only got... Oops, got a little drib and drab in there. I think I'm getting close to the end of my current iron supply. Yep. Which I can easily find more. Just got to go do that. So yeah, I'll verify that wither skeletons will drop in our farm, and if they do, we will make some beheading in there to get plenty of heads. So that is that. So this contraption here is what's going to be in this corner, and it's going to be killing everything. That's why we're pushing everything to one particular spot with this three-way, XYZ fan system. It's because we want everything in one mob smasher, because we're going to spend a lot of stuff making it a really good mob smasher. So we want to make sure not to have to use multiple mob mashers. Alright, so we've got our killing figured out. I need to make a bunch of blue dye and blue floral powder for dye and make a bunch of looting. And then make a couple more lamps. And then I got to pick a spot for it. So I use cave illuminators excessively, as you may have already seen. So there is one under there. There's one sort of under my floor here somewhere. So one problem I have is that if I put my cave, if I put my monster farm under my base, I have a cave illuminator. Let's see. I've got... go on, and then my name. So I've currently got cave illuminators in my home, and then one over here, and then one down there, and then one down there. And this is what is lighting up without torches all of this area. So all of this stuff is just lit up wonderfully without me using torches. So those are important to me. Now I can take them down, but then if I do any mining down here, no new cave illuminator lights will pop up. The old ones will stay there, but the new ones won't come. So I sort of want to leave those all there, but basically what I'm getting at is that I want to do it above ground, or I could be below ground somewhere else, but I'll probably just make it above ground. And so, where do we want to do that? So probably, I think there's a hill over here that would work well. So I'm thinking maybe on that hilltop over there. So if we... Dun, 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 use our rig of the squid, deploy our glider, and away we go. So this will be, put it far enough away from my base. We're going to want to keep it in one. Hey, it's those guys. We're going to want to keep it in one thing. We could go with an existing structure, like we could put it in this wooden building if it lines up right. I love the sound those guys make. I'm thinking maybe right here. So we will go ahead and flatten this out a bit. And I can fill this in a bit. What is that? I don't think I can mine it, but I want to see it. Ovium ore. Cobalt. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and... oh, hey, neat. So you can see here's Cave Illuminator. So basically we got to keep everything above this Cave Illuminator that is over here. And I can move this down a notch too. So probably what I'll do is I'll pick this up, move it down a few blocks. And then this will be my 16 by 16 area. Vein mine! I love vein mining grass. It makes me very happy. Although in this pack there's so much bewitchment seeds that it's sort of a pain in the butt. Do not think I need any more bewitchment seeds. Thank you very much. Alright, so this will be the home of our mob farm. Grab some beans. Get rid of that. Grab more black dye. Alrighty, this is a chunk. So we'll go 9 this way, and then 14 this way, and we'll be in business. And it's not too far from my base, but it's far enough away that don't have to worry about listening to it, and etc. And it's a quick flight over there. Alright, so that is the planning stage of my mob farm done. I just thought I would sort of show you guys where I'm thinking. This is going to be a different mob farm for me, a different size. It's going to be the first time I'm using this. It's going to be, I think the first time I'm using this. It's going to be the first time I'm using fans. So yeah, sort of fun. So I'm going to pause here, and I've been talking way too long probably, but I just wanted to let you guys know what I was up to. And then we are going to, I'm going to go set everything up. I wanted to show you guys here because I wanted to get this all planned out and show you how it works before we actually build the base. Building the base will be pretty quick with building tools, so I can put up walls, floor, and ceiling real fast. And then I'll just install everything and make sure it works. And away we go. I think some people, when I Googled this, I think some people make a second one of these to turn the fans on and off. But I'm not sure. I think I might just put the levers on the outside of the mob farm. Yeah, we'll see. That's another thing to think about, maybe. How expensive was that thing? And ender pearl and some lapis. So it wasn't that expensive. God, that reminds me. I am doing horrible at remembering that I have ender pearls growing down here. add Grimweird. And an Ender Lily. Too much trash. There we go. So yeah, that's another thing. If you go into Astral Sorcery early with, like me, vein mining grass, like you just saw me do, for Ender Lilies, and then getting into Astral Sorcery with a stolen, oh, this is the wrong box, with a stolen floating crystal from a existing temple. That can be really fun because you can turn sandstone into instone, and that's where I got these. I haven't been to the end, obviously, but you can turn sandstone into instone as soon as you get the tier 2 altar and a linking tool and a stolen floating crystal with a sack of holding. And you can vein mine grass and get Ender Lilies, and boom, you've got Ender Lilies. Not that hard, actually. With as useful as a Cave Illuminator is in this pack, it's probably worth doing. Getting into Astral Sorcery early. Alright. Now I'm going to pause, and I'm going to go set all this up, and then we'll come back and see it in action. Be right back. So a quick aside, I decided I wanted a couple hundred more iron just to like make sure everything was as good as it possibly could be. If you're going to make this damn thing, make it as good as you can. So I figured I'd go do some mining, partially also because I want to get back into my perks. So now that I am Evortio, this little bar every once in a while it'll pop up when you gain a level out in the world. But basically I just did 2 vein mines and went from about here on level 1 to in level 2. So a couple of vein mines got me near half a level. So now I can go up to, boom, another 10% mining speed. And just to show you, so it's and there's 3. So you see the bar popped up in the top left when I leveled. So again, we're going to do here, perks, and we're going to do 5% more mining speed and 10% melee damage. Let's see. Boom, active. And now, I don't know if I want to go... I do like reach, so that would make me happy. However, I think what I'm going to do is make a beeline to this. When you get here, you get 3 additional perk points, and it unlocks the other starting areas. So I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My next 7 perks will take me to the middle there. Gonna get out some slightly better food. What have I got here? This is good. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to bust out some perk levels and find us some more emeralds. Yay. And more lapis. And I'm going to keep going with this until I grab myself probably about a stack and a half of iron, which shouldn't take too long. And then I will go ahead and make the all the sharpening and possibly the beheading things for our mob masher. And then I'll go set things up. Be right back. Alright, so I spent several minutes hogging out basically the area that's in my field of view here with Vein Miner. Went pretty fast. I did like slow down a little to pick up things like diamonds and emeralds and whatnot. But on the whole, went pretty fast, and I've reached level 10 in my perks. So I have 7 more points to spend already. So let's go ahead and diddy bop through here. And There it is. All right. So these are lit up now, and I can take them and move out from them now. Now, I'm not sure if you, like for instance here, I'm gaining experience by breaking blocks. I'm not sure if when I open this up, I also gain experience by dealing damage. Should I do both? It's quite possible. I'm not sure. But you can see how quickly you can move. The only reason I was reluctant to do here is if you got to be a little bit careful with the mining speed here, because I did this once and I got up in this area and I was mostly after reach because I love improved reach. Being able to mine, those blocks up there from here is just lots of fun. But my mining speed got so fast that I could not like break something in my base. I would go to break like a block, and I would break the 3 blocks under it too. It got a little insane. So you got to be careful not to let your mining speed get out of hand. The main reason for this is that I don't really have to have a fast pickaxe. I'm not going to have a fast pickaxe in this mod because Tinker's tools are leveling so slow in this mod. Although I will actually get to 40,000 here pretty soon now that I'm doing this action. Anyway, so I've got that. Let's take a look at my iron situation. I've gained about 35 iron ore, and I want to gain like basically another stack of iron. So I'm just going to keep blowing out this entire area here until I get another stack of iron, and then I'll go build my mob farm. Alright, so this was a fun development. This room had, trying to think what the damage was here. I was running around here and I found an area that was sort of crisscross of blocks of quartz and obsidian, and I broke that, and I heard below me somewhere blazes, which love that. Since I'm working on a maze farm, having a blaze spawner in it would be fantastic. So this, I think, was lava down here. So I had a bucket of water from up here. So up in this area, there's plenty of water. So I grabbed a bucket of water. I made a hole and dumped a bunch of water down there. I think that turned all of this into obsidian. Right above here, there was a sort of a big cube of obsidian with a blaze spawner in the center of it. So after a battle with the blaze, which resulted in a few blaze rods and books and what have you, and a little bit of damage as I got lit on fire, I was able to defeat them long enough to break this cube open of obsidian and snag the spawner out of it with a sack of holding. So I have an intact blaze spawner for my new mob farm. So that is beautiful. And I'm going to come back down here and explore a bit more when I can. But also, I was actually just about ready to leave because I'm now up over a stack and a half of iron, so I have enough iron to do all the things I wanted to do. The only reason I came over here was to grab some water, because while I was vein mining, I uncovered a bunch of lava, and I don't want those lava squids or whatever the hell they are, lava octopi, to spawn near my near where I'm hanging out. So I came up here to get some water, and that's when I heard, as I was wandering around getting some iron bars and some water, that's when I heard the blazes, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, that sounds like something I want to be a part of. And so basically I had gone up there for a bucket of water to pave this over so that I don't get squidified. All right. So we'll clean that out later if we decide I need to. But for right now, I just didn't want to have any large exposed areas of lava open here because I don't like them squids. So you can see I paved over this one earlier. I think I did that back when I was exploring this area before this mining adventure. So we'll do that some more. Alright, now that we've dispersed a little squid be gone, I think I got one more area over here with some lava. Not much of it is exposed, but... Whoa! Hello. Don't mind me. Pardon me while I put myself out. Alright, so you can see I've laid waste to a big old swath here with vein mining. If we take a look at my book, I have got 6 unspent perk points, and so this up through here, starting here, wrapping around to the center, and then grabbing the base of all of these, that was sort of a foregone conclusion. That was a good way, I think, to spend the first, several points or whatever. However, there is a cap on this of 30 perk points, so I've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've only got 14 more points to spend. So I've got to decide where I want to go. Again, I think my armor's pretty good. And I did some digging around. Fire and ice. The only thing that would really scared me at this point was that I've encountered has been the Cyclops when it bit me. But I looked it up, and in the config for ice and fire, and Cyclops bite does like 8,000 points of damage or something. So it's basically an insta kill. So just basically don't get close to them and don't be picked up and don't get bitten. Lesson learned. So other than that, I think I'm going to stay away from the defense side. I don't think I need to get too far into the whole mining efficiency and mining speed. I'm already starting to... So that's mining pretty quick. Especially with the Electrum doing its discharge thing. So I think just by moving through, stupid phone. I think just by moving through the perks and getting extra perk efficiency as you move through here, you can pick up more effectiveness of perks here and there. So I don't think I'm going to need to worry too much more about speed. I did finally get another level on my mining pick, so I could, if I wanted to, put haste on it, although I'm sure I'll put looting instead. But I need to sort of get out here. Blade finesse, this is a fantastic one. These ones that are out on the edges here can be really nice. Gem socket, I'm not actually familiar with what gems are available, so I'll have to take a look at that. Chance to poison or slow or whatever. Long shot, blunt bolts, combat focus, 15%. So I'm pretty sure I want to go up through here and go, let's see, so that's going to be 5% projectile speed, 5% in both and some more crit, 10% projectile damage, more projectile damage, more projectile damage, reach and projectile speed. And then I'll probably pop over to get some of these. This is like an instant kill. If enemies are below 15% of their maximum life, they're instantly killed. I don't know if I'm going to have enough points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I could barely make it to that if I want. Although this is the 25% increased critical damage and 20% melee damage is also very nice. Anyway, bottom line, I need to look through some of this stuff and decide where out here I want to go. Yeah. And I gotta look at gem sockets. Alchemist Flask, Bleeding. This one is sort of nice. You can go up this way and 3% of your damage is gained as life. 3% of damage dealt gained as life, and then another 5% and plus 2 added health. So that's a total of like 11% of your damage. So that might be sort of nice. Vampirism, the Astral Sorcery way. I think lethal draw, 15% critical damage multiplier, and also 30% more projectile damage. That's also nice. This whole chain lightning thing could be cool. I think lethal draw might be where I want to go. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Where am I? I want to get this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Up to lethal draw. And possibly whatever this is. I gotta unlock the I think this requires unlocking one of the constellations I haven't unlocked yet. Anyway, yeah, I think I have a feeling that this is probably lethal draw is probably going to be the way I want to go. And then I might make like a shuriken or a crossbow to go with that. And I'll pick up a little more effectiveness of perks as I go. And I might pull off like just one more of things off of here in case I need any of these. More effectiveness. Yeah, we'll see. This is actually good for only 3 points. I can get 20% more armor, so that might be worth doing. Some of these ones here might be worth doing. This would be 5, 10, 25% more maximum life. I'm already up to 30 heart, so that's going to be nice. Anyway, I am babbling. I have a feeling I've now made it to the point where even if I go build my mob farm, I won't have time to walk us through it. But it was good to show off the Astral Perks situation. Again, Astral Sorcery is one of my favorite magic perks, or one of my favorite magic mods. So it's always fun to get into that. And I also got a quest reward of a Plague Doctor mask, which actually goes really good with my armor. Alright, so let me pause here and see how much runtime we have left, and I'll be right back. Alright, that's about it for this episode. So I'll call this episode Planning our mob farm, and then we'll put it into effect next time. I'll have it all built at the beginning of next time, and I'll do a quick recap of how it works. So yeah. Good stuff, though. Anything else I want to talk about? The whole Astral Sorcery perks situation. I think that pretty much covers most of that. There are resplendent amulets and some other things like that. Um, there are some other things in here like empty gem sockets. Um, I think there are gems. I've never got into making these, but I think there are like these kinds of gems which can do things. I think that's might be what it's talking about. Not sure what they do though. I've never made them. I might need to make these kinds of weapons to use them. So like a crystal sword. The crystal sword can get, I think, pretty insanely overpowered. You can enchant it, and then also it only starts out with 14 attack damage, but I think you can get it pretty nuts by then enchanting it and or modifying it with stuff. There's this gem from the Between Lands, but I think you could do other stuff with it, maybe possibly with these gems as well. I'll have to read into that. You can also make these amulets, so these amulets will have pluses to skills. So these are baubles that you can make that sometimes can help you get extra things. You end up having to re-roll the amulet a bunch of times to try and get something that you like. So it's sort of like hit or miss. And what else? I think that's about it for here. So here you can see how much damage I did. A good chunk of this middle area was done, but from about, this circle here, I just vein mined, and it went pretty darn quick. I ate almost a stack of baguettes. I am up to 56 levels. So here's something, a little warning tip. So I went ahead and made a Tome of Knowledge because something attacked me. I think it might have been a flying ghost thing. Something attacked me, and I got attacked multiple times, and it wasn't doing much damage, so I wasn't paying much attention. But then I noticed like 10-15 minutes later that I had no levels. I'd been up around 40-50 levels, and I was down to like 7 or so. And so there may be some fishes undead rising or some other monster in here which actually sucks your experience. So that's just a warning thing. There are plenty of ways to save your experience. I'm putting them in this Tome of Knowledge, which was, I think it just took a couple emeralds. Yeah, a couple emeralds and a couple lapis. So you can make this pretty darn early in the game. If you're doing some apple trading with villagers, or, it's basically as soon as you get a couple lapis and emeralds, you can make that. And it stores quite a bit. Stores 10,000 experience. I'm not sure how many levels that is, but you can see it just ate up the 50-some levels I had, and I already had probably some levels in there. But there are lots of other experience storage methods as well. This one, you just right-click to put experience in, and shift right-click to take levels back out. So I'm shift right-clicking and right-clicking. So it's pretty simple. And with that, I think our runtime is done. So I'm going to bid you farewell, and next time we will move from the planning stages of the mob farm to the actual building and seeing what we get from the mob farm. Talk to you later.